Hi friends, welcome to this latest episode of the Nationalist View, and today we have with us a very special guest from Washington, Mr. Lalit K. Lalit ji, a warm welcome to you from Washington, and thank you so much for taking time out from your busy schedule to talk to us. And Lalit ji has been in Washington for more than 2 decades, and earlier he was the PTI bureau chief. Now he's the founder editor of one of the leading publications in US, especially which a publication which focuses apart from South Asia geopolitics. It focuses majorly on Indian diaspora also. So the name is New India Abroad. We'll be sharing the link of this platform also, so you can access this platform and keep yourself updated about what is happening in US from an Indian perspective. So Lalitji, I want to have this conversation, woven around the India-US relationship. Now there have been, a lot of conspiracy theories, and there have been a lot of, blow hot, blow cold moments in this relationship. So, but we will try to look at some of the, brighter spots also. So, so my first question is, you being in Washington, you also go to, the White House briefings. You have a seat there in the press room, which is a matter of prestige. So, how does, Washington view India's rise amid China's challenge, especially recently we have the GDP numbers of the last quarter, 8.2% growth in amidst this tariff war which is going on. So how does US see basically India's rise in context of the China challenge?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on your popular show. I really appreciate it. Coming back to India-US relationship, it has been on an upward trajectory for the last 2.5 decades. And I guess it will continue to be so. But since both the countries are democratic in nature, both are the largest democratic countries in the world, and the leaders of whoever the leader would be and are, they're all driven by the interest of their own people, right? So there will be some bumps on the road ahead, and there has been bumps on the road. But I guess my sense is the trajectory is going to continue upwards. And it's going to improve at least for the next 20 years. Till that time, India grows much. India could be seen by the US as a threat. As of now, it is not. It is seen as a rising power, as a friendly power, which will help United States to maintain its superpower status globally, at least in the context of what China's threat that is coming up to the US. So US needs, I will not use the word desperately, but very important, significantly, US needs India on its side to maintain the status quo and to successfully address the challenge that is being posed, or I will not say challenge, even the threat that is being posed by China as of now.
So, Lalitji, there's a lot of talk in India about these what we call strategic autonomy. And there is a line of thought that probably because India is pursuing an strategically autonomous or strategically, it doesn't want to be governed by the compulsions or by the choices of other countries or any superpower. So this strategic autonomy, so this appears to be a bone of contention, or this appears to be causing these bumps in this journey as far as India-US relationship is concerned. So what's your viewpoint? How you being in Washington, because you interact with a lot of foreign journalists also, you interact with a lot of policymakers there also. How do they look at this concept of strategic autonomy for India?
Yeah, you're right. So for the US, if you see the US culture and how they operate, it's either my way or highway, right? So in that context, they have difficulties in understanding where India comes from in this concept of a strategic independence, right? So they want India to be fully on its side, right? And don't say anything, or the yes man, which the US has all its friends and allies doing that. And they fail to understand, they have difficulties in understanding why India is not going to be the yes man. And initially, in the last 20 years, they're having difficulties in them. And now there's gradual understanding, more and better understanding of why India is saying that, and why it's also in their interest to India to maintain its strategic independence, so that India is not part of their block kind of thing. And India maintaining the strategic independence more adds more value uh, to the grouping of countries, the friendly countries that is here. That's why you will see after initial resistance, and the resistance is still continuing. United States in multiple administration have come out with multiple ways. Every time one president comes out with multiple ways to accommodate India in that way, right? If you see the op-ed which was written by President Obama and Prime Minister Modi during his first visit to the US, they wrote "Challenge Saath Saath," right? We are equal partners, right? Then Biden administration started Quad, right? There was no need for Quad. Because Australia, Japan are already part of their ally partnership, so they roped in that group for Quad for India only. And similarly, the Trump administration has also been doing the multiple ways to give India a special position. Defense partnership was another one of them. So to give India a special position, which is not regular part of the ally, and also leaving some space for India, a lot of space for India, which India wants, so that India can pursue its own independent foreign policy and strategic advantages.
Lalitji, how much is the impact of tech ties and supply chain relationship between India and US? So, because in Silicon Valley and also in the tech industry, India is having a major stake there, and there's a lot of software exports which happen to US. And apart from that, a large number of techies they go there and work there. So a substantial chunk of that is from India. So recently, the issue of visas has also come up. US seem to be tightening the noose on basically the H-1B visas also. So visas, tech ties, and supply chains. What is the role played by these three things in India-US relationship at the current juncture?
On the visa, right? The entire U.S. system of visa and immigration is being getting ready for major overhaul, right? Lot of changes will happen. India is means or Indians have not played any role into it in the negative terms, but Indians will be part of it in terms of because a lot of illegal immigrants has come up. There has been a lot of misuse of H-1B visa as well. The main objective of H-1B visa was to bring the high-tech, a specialized category of tech entrepreneurs, which has not been the case in the last 20 years. Majority of those who come in have been mostly basically data operators. They don't add much value what the initial intention of H-1B was. So that's one of the issues. But I guess when it finally becomes a new format comes out, it will be a new format in which the high end of tech entrepreneurs would be getting visa much easier. And what I sense is the next couple of years we'll see evolution of some processes where there could be much more free flow of people between the two countries. That's what we are heading towards. But there are initial bumps, which you are saying right now. Coming to the tech side, yes, Indians have contributed a lot. Their contribution to this sector in the US is immense. From the startup side, to the science and technology in the pharma sector, in the IT sector, robotics, AI, every field you see, the Indians have played a very, very major role. You have seen them at the corporate sector, which becomes the face of it. But at the bottom level, most of the work in all these sectors are being done by people of Indian origin or Indian Americans, either who are on H-1B visa or green card or newly acquired citizenship. They have been playing a major role. But in a sense, if you look from India's perspective, there's a big loss for India as well. Have these people been in India and they would have been given some kind of ecosystem, even 50% of the ecosystem which stays in the US, right, which be in this US, India would have marched ahead much, much faster, both in technological development, both in economic development and other socio-economic development as well, which has not been the case. Think about it. If we had Sundar Pichai or Satya Nadella kind of persons, right, we had given them the opportunity to invest in leadership kind of thing, where we had been. I think we are moving in the last 10 years. Policy have changed. They have been the ecosystem what we see in the Silicon Valley and other places in the US is being similar kind of ecosystem is now the path of evolution in India. That's why you'll see so many new apps, new technologies, new innovations coming up. These are in very basic initial stage of innovations. I'm sure in the next 10 to 15 years, India will be in a position to give the Googles, Facebook, AI robotics, and SpaceX to us as well. When it comes to supply chain, yes, there is a problem, and there will be a problem right now because a lot of things doesn't depend on India itself. But India has maneuvered all these issues quite well in the last 2 decades, ever since I have been covering the U.S. administration, the White House, even the previous government as well. In the last 20 years, we have seen 3 or 4 major crises, economic crises global, from the housing issues, the wars, then the Ukraine war, then COVID-19. India and Indian government has insulated its people from the global crisis in terms of economy. We haven't seen that kind of inflation what the world has seen. We haven't seen that kind of supply chain issue, food crisis. The rest of the world has seen that. So India should be. I think Indians should feel literally pretty proud of what Indian government has done for them in the last 10-15 years.
So, my last question now, that what are the general misconceptions about India that still influence the US policy, and what we need to do to, kind of ensure that these misconceptions stop influencing the US policy, or at least basically, the right kind of picture is painted. So, what are the general misconceptions about India which are influencing the US policymakers?
Right. Look, basically it is the world looks at India today through the lens of New York Times, BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, right? We don't have anyone who tells India's story to them, right? Apni kahani, apni jubani is what the basic core of it is, right? Right from independence to now, the India's image about what is India and what Indians are doing is totally different, right? From what India really is, right? And the culture, because of the cultural differences of third world country that we're initially being treated, right? The concept about India and Indians is not seen in a positive direction. And there has been systematic way, sustained way of portraying India in a different way, in the wrong, in negative way kind of thing, right? Look at it. I will tell you a few instances of 1947, from 1947 onwards. India was the first country independence on the values of Satya and Ahimsa, and the rest of the world, other countries followed that, right? Look at what India was written about in the Western media, right? Indian democracy is bound to be failure, right? Indian doesn't know how to rule, so in the next 6 months, British are coming back to rule them again. We proved them wrong, right? Similarly, when we were asking for food in the 60s, right, from the Western countries, look, India was being portrayed while India should have been the poster boy of the West, because India adopted modern democracy, modern way of governance, right? It took a lot of innovative revolutionary measures like universal franchise, mixed economy, right? Reservations, right? These were something very revolutionary in nature, but instead of India becoming the poster boy of the West, how was India being treated? India is a country of snake charmers, right? India is a country of naked peoples, right? And that cultural insensitivity continues even today, right? It's primarily because we think that हम अच्छा काम करेंगे तो दुनिया ऐसे ही समझ जाएगी हमारी बात को, right? That has not been the case. You have to come and tell the world what you are. You have to explain to yourself, right? And that has not been the case so far. But is that the most important part of a country and a society? No, that's not. First important part is having a product, right? Once you have a good product, then it's come to marketing part of it. Now India is a good product. India has proved itself that it's a mature and democracy. It is marching ahead despite all the challenges that it has faced. It has no other country in human history has been able to make so much development and progress in just 75 years, which India has done with the democracy, with human rights, so much diversity, so much challenges, right? but still India is not being treated the way it has should be. Uh, Media narrative, setting up narrative tones, making a long-term planning for that is quite important.
I
That's
think
all
we
we
need
can
to,
do.
also adopt the culture of think tanks, because I think the think tank to the collaborative efforts between think tanks, so they generally play a very significant role in creating a foundation for the right kind of narrative. Though in the optics, it may not be visible in the mainstream media so much, but my experience has been largely that you need to have that kind of a think tank culture, and this is what we can learn from US also, because their think tanks work with a lot of academic rigor. So that academic rigor often seems to be, missing in our, think tanks. There are some good think tanks in India also, but we are still adopting basically, that culture. So I think that is what is important, and I think Lalitji, you are playing an important role in this regard, because the last answer which you mentioned, that we have to tell our own story. So I think New India Abroad is one such initiative which is uh, trying to, quite successfully tell India's story to the rest of the world. And it is also opening a window for India, so that while the rest of the world also looks at us, we also look at, the rest of the world with the right kind of perspective. So, again, to our viewers, I'll be sharing the link of New India Abroad, and you can, access it through that link. So, Lalitji, thank you so much for taking time out from your busy schedule, and we'll continue to, trouble Lalitji with our requests to be on our podcast regularly, because it's quite, exciting, quite an exciting time for India-US relationship. So we'll continue to have his perspective on India-US relationship and other geopolitical issues. And thank you once again, Laliji, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm available anytime you can call me.